If you've ever opened a tax PDF and immediately thought, I'll deal with this later, you're not alone. Most people don't struggle with taxes because they're bad at math, they struggle because they don't understand the documents in front of them. Tax-related PDFs are the backbone of the entire tax system. Every W-2, every 1099, every deduction, credit, or penalty starts with a PDF that was generated by an employer, a bank, a broker, or the IRS itself. And whether you realise it or not, the IRS already has a copy of most of them. That's the part people miss. When you receive a tax PDF, it isn't just for your records, it's a data point. And if the data point doesn't match what's on your tax return, that's when letters, penalties, and interest start showing up. So today, this is not about loopholes or tricks. This is about document literacy, understanding what tax PDFs actually represent, how they're used, and how to avoid costly mistakes simply by knowing what it is that you're actually looking at. What tax-related PDF actually means. When people hear tax forms, they usually think of filing forms like a 1040, but most tax-related PDFs are information returns, not filing documents. These are forms created by third parties that report income, activity, or transactions about you to the IRS. You receive a copy and the IRS receives the same copy, usually at the same time. This is why simply opening a PDF isn't enough. You need to be able to read it properly, zoom into specific boxes, search for key terms, and sometimes annotate or highlight what matters. If you're still treating PDFs as static images instead of working documents, you're already at a bit of a disadvantage. The biggest tax mistakes don't come from fraud, they come from assumptions. People assume a PDF is informational and doesn't need any action. They assume small dollar amounts don't matter, they assume their software or CPA will just catch it. But the IRS doesn't work on assumptions, it works on matching. If a PDF exists and the numbers on your return don't reflect it, the IRS system flags the discrepancy automatically. There's no human judgment involved at that stage, it's just simple math. That's why being able to quickly review, search, and compare PDFs matters far more than people realise. Almost every tax-related PDF follows this same structure. There's identifying information at the top, your name, social security number, or taxpayer ID, and the payer's information. Then there are boxes. Every box exists for a reason. Some feed directly into taxable income, others affect withholding contribution limits or reporting thresholds. They open the file, see 20 boxes, and don't know where to focus. In reality, most forms only have 2 or 3 boxes that truly matter for your situation. The ability to mark those boxes, add notes, or extract key pages is not just convenient, it's practical tax hygiene. Here's the rule you should internalize. If a tax PDF says copy A for the IRS, assume the IRS already has it. That means your return must match it, exactly or with a valid explanation. This is why casually downloading PDFs, never naming them properly, and never reviewing them side by side is such a common source of problems. If you can't easily pull up your W-2, your 1099s, and your brokerage statements in one place and compare them, you're relying on luck. Most tax PDFs are now delivered digitally. That should make things easier, but for most people it does quite the opposite. Emails get buried, portals require logins you forgot, PDFs sit in folders with names like statement_final_v2.pdf. From the IRS's perspective, none of that matters. The document exists, it was transmitted, it's expected to be reported. This is why treating PDFs as living documents you can search, organise, rename, and annotate is no longer optional, it's part of staying compliant. One of the most common mistakes is filing too early. People file in late January, then receive another PDF in February that reports income they forgot about. Another mistake is assuming reinvested income doesn't count. Dividends and interest are taxable whether you reinvest them or not. Third mistake is ignoring small forms. $10 of interest still generates a form, and that form still gets matched. And finally, people confuse tax filing forms with information forms. You don't file a W-2 or a 1099, you report what's on them. Instead of seeing tax PDFs as paperwork, think of them as signals. Each one answers a question the IRS is already asking. Did you earn this income? Did you receive this distribution? Did you sell this asset? Your tax return is simply your response. The easier it is for you to review, understand, and organise those PDFs, the less stressful tax season becomes. In the next videos, we'll break down the most common tax PDFs and what triggers each one, which boxes actually affect your taxes and which don't, how to organise tax PDFs so nothing gets missed, how tools like PDF Element can make reviewing and managing tax documents faster without changing how you file, Once you understand tax-related PDFs and can actually work with them instead of avoiding them, taxes stops feeling mysterious. They become procedural, and that's exactly where you want them. If you found this one helpful, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and stay tuned for future videos which will be hopefully just as helpful as this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.